Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Sunday the 17th of August. Before I begin, timecodes in the description, you know how it is for skipping stuff. The maintenance tomorrow, it starts at 4 AM EDT, which is 4 PM for me. I should be home by the time trade school ends, or it's called TAFE here. But yeah, it should be a couple of hours before that, so I should be okay for the daily, but the weekly is definitely going to be delayed. At least by Tuesday, because I've got trade school the next day. I can't stay up till 12. No way. So yeah, just want to keep people in the loop there. If anything happens tomorrow, I'll let you know. If something stops me from being able to do the daily, but yeah, just assume it's all tickety boo for now. So this set is much better than yesterday's. Everything here is good. In my opinion, I'd start by crafting some baked apples or banana surprise with the docks in Oridon. I'd go kill some Daedra, and then I'd go home and just play some structure furnishings. I'll go through the prerequisites for this stuff, but as soon as you've unlocked the items, or like bought the items that you need for this, you can do it for free anytime it comes up. And it's only like a couple of hundred gold at worst. And even then, like, these ones are fine. This one you can do. Actually no. Everything here kind of, aside from Humanoid Daedra, is like there's a slight cost involved for the first time. But yeah, it's fine. It's all like very, very easy stuff. So, crafting with provisioning. Firstly, I'd suggest you get 2 recipes, at least one of them. Come to Hizala here, or you can go to any chef in the game. If you're looking to get your furnishings as well, you can get the chef here and do the furnishings one at the same time. So that's also worth looking at. The reason I like going to Hizala is she's right next door to the place I use to do the rest of this endeavor, because that's where I find the provisioning materials. These two here, baked apples and banana surprise, 250 gold each. Once you've bought these, that's it. From this point, you can do provisioning endeavors for free. Fucking, what do you mean out of range? So this is where I go in order to do the provisioning material gathering. This is the square pier right here in Oridon in Vocal Guard. So this way should start with by default, so it's very easy to get here. The reason we look at this is there's a tray here full of bananas and a couple of apples. There's an apple basket down here, which usually has stuff, and then there's an apple basket over here. Now, sometimes these are just empty. It's just the weird nature of containers in this game. If you leave the zone and come back, more stuff will pop up in these things. The quickest way to leave and come back is to use Imperial City. You go in, turn around, look for the tunnel with the door at the end. You leave, and that will take you straight back here. It counts as leaving the zone, so everything here actually resets, all the containers too. If you don't have access to Imperial City, just go to the Wayshrine, leave, come back here, and everything should reset. Now, if you need a cooking fire, there's one right next door, just a little bit to the west. But if you want to do the structure furnishings at the same time, if you've got a provisioning station in your home, you could also just do that instead. Just, conveniently do 2 in the comfort of your home. But if not, you can just come to the cooking fire here, you go food, you go fruit dishes, and you'll see the 2 recipes here. You just go as many as you need and craft. You might need less if you have higher provisioning. With the chef passive here, increases how many you get from a single item. So if you have chef 3 out of 3 passives, if you just have 1 apple, you could do this endeavor, like, with, just 1. It's quite funny. Humanoid Daedra. So things like seducers here, Dremora, these count. So there's a couple of good places, I think, that you can look at for this. The ones I would personally choose is Sanguine's Domain here. This is the public dungeon in Shadowfen. The quickest way to get here if you haven't been and have this Wayshrine yet is using Ample Domicile. So if you go to Home Tours, go to Browse Homes, I find that to be a little bit better. Go down to and then Ample Domicile. Travel to this home, doesn't cost you anything. Leave through the front door. This will take you to Shadowfen right here. And then it's just a quick trek over here, and also you'll have this Wayshrine from this point on, so it's actually easier from this point to get here. The only issue I have with this one, and the reason I don't usually use it myself, is it's overland. So if someone comes through and kills all the Dremora in here, you just gotta wait for them to respawn. That being said, there are a lot of Dremora in here, and usually they respawn pretty quick if someone clears out everything. So what I would do is check this section here. There's a lot of Dremora here. And through these areas here as well, there's usually Dremora in these sections here too. Overland areas in Cold Harbor are rife with these motherfuckers. If you want a good overland area, this is the only one I really usually bother with. So Library of Dusk has a lot of Dremora in it. Court of Contempt also has a lot of Dremora in it, and they're both pretty close to the Wayshrine that you start with. Now, normally, I should also point out, the main quest, the Cold Harbor quest line, also has shit tons of Dremora in pretty much every quest. So if you do these, that also works well. And these are instants, so you don't see other players in here, so you don't have to worry about shit like respawning after being killed. So that's also really good. But the issue with Cold Harbor usually is you need to complete the Cold Harbor, like the main quest line, to get here, basically. But if you don't have, if you haven't done that yet, you can also use home tours to get to Cold Harbor Surreal Estate. If you leave this home, it'll bring you to Cold Harbor early. And so with this, you can have this Wayshrine now from this point, and you can actually access these areas here. The only area you cannot access is the basically the chasm onwards, because there's no way to use the portals to get over to the Orchid, which is kind of annoying. But if you do some of the main quest here, it'll eventually give you access to the chasm, and at that point it's pretty good. Also, the public dungeon Village of the Lost in Cold Harbor, this place has fucking so many Dremora, it's crazy. Like, Dremora seduces everything. It's just crawling with them. My personal choice, though, for simplicity, for Humanoid Daedra, is to use Imperial City Prison. This is a DLC dungeon, but the DLC is free, so everybody has access to this. Everybody has this unlocked immediately as soon as they create a character, so you can travel in here whenever you're ready. The only issue is the enemies are not weak. They're much more tough than the regular enemies you'll find in like the early normal dungeons. But with a decent build and just like a couple of heals, you can handle this stuff pretty easily. So the first group right in the middle, there are Zivkin and Dremora here. These all count as Humanoid Daedra. There'll be a few Daedrats, they're not important. But yeah, the Zivkin and the Dremora are what you're looking for. And then, though that's only 4, you'll notice there's a bunch over here, so you can kill this group if you need more. And then over on the left side, there's also another group of Humanoid Daedra over here. So there are more than 5 in this dungeon, like right at the start. And the best thing is, when you leave, it doesn't take you to Cyrodiil. What it does is takes you back to where you came in from. So it takes you straight back to the Wayshrine, so you can do whatever you want to do next without much inconvenience. Okay, structure furnishings. So you need a house, which you can get for free, and then you also need a structure furnishing. There is a structure furnishing you can buy from Rozika here for 100 gold. Any furnishing vendor in the game, every single one has a structure furnishing of some kind. But yeah, this is just, I find, the quickest one to get to, because it's next to a Wayshrine that you start with by default, and it's literally right next door. So open the menu with Rozika, block wood cutting right at the top. This is a structure finishing. Costs you 100 gold, so just buy one of these and chuck it in your home. You only need one. There's a really easy way to just spam place and pick up an item. The biggest issue you'll have is if you place it on the floor and then spam left click to pick it up and put it down, that doesn't work. It has to come from your inventory first. But you can use an undo redo system and just keep putting it in your inventory and then placing it back down really fast. That's what I prefer to use. So the other thing you need is a free house. Right here, next door to Rozika, there'll be a NPC normally. She looks like this. She'll have a quest above her head. If you complete this quest, you get a free house. All you have to do to complete it is talk to her. That's it. Just exhaust some dialogue and you'll get a house for free. The one you get depends on your alliance. But you'll get Resi Lion, Ebony Flask in room, or Mara's Kiss public house. Just depends. If you do this on all three characters from different alliances, you'll get all 3 of their houses. And I recommend doing that because they all have some pretty useful applications. Especially Mara's Kiss because it's right next to a Wayshrine. So if you travel to Mara's Kiss outside, you can get to a Wayshrine really easily from anywhere. So like if you're in the middle of that Sanguine's domain, for example, you can immediately travel to Morris Kiss outside and then get to a way shrine without having to leave the dungeon and go all the way back. So once you got everything you need, go to the map, go to houses to collected, go to the house in question, and then travel there. So Seabloom Villa, this is the one I normally use. We'll travel there first. Alright, so we've got our furnishing. So what we do first is go to the housing editor, bottom right there, whatever that key is. At the bottom middle, you'll see it says browse. You just hit whatever that key is. And then you go down to structures. You get your wood cutting block or whatever you got before. You click it, you place it, and then you put it on the floor. Now, with undo redo, what you do is you, at the bottom left, you'll see it says undo. I don't know why there's two. I think one of them's an add-on. Yeah, you hit the Z key to undo. That'll put it in your inventory, and you press redo to put it back on the ground. And as you can see, that counts for the endeavor. That's what I suggest. Undo, redo, and just use that. Now, what I suggest also is dedicate like a decent sized house. Eventually, when you get yourself sorted in this game, you get a bit of gold. Buy yourself like a decent house. I'd say anything more than 100,000 gold is like too much. Just buy something simple. And what I suggest is have dedicate like a corner somewhere, and put all the different types of furnishings in that corner. As you can see, as I've done here. So I've got the wood cutting block there. So whenever this endeavor comes up, regard like what specific type of furnishing it is. So say it's the Undercroft one. I can come over here. I can pick this up, put it away, undo, redo, undo. And that will count for the endeavor. So I've just got all my furnishings here in just like a convenient place. And whenever that specific furnishing needs to be done for the endeavor, I just do this strategy. It just makes it really quick. So you're not just putting stuff in your inventory and leaving it there. Yeah, just very convenient. I should also mention, yeah, you can have a cooking fire and make some food in here too. That's what I mentioned. So you can get this easily if you've done the Golden Pursuit. So if you've collected the RIT vouchers, you can spend 35 vouchers to get yourself a provisioning station and do the provisioning endeavor. Same thing with all the different the attunable stations. You can get all the other stations through the alchemy, the enchanting ones. If you want help with this this Golden Pursuit still, I have a video where I've basically gone through all the options. The only thing I have left to do is the harvesting from the world. I still know I need to do that. Trust me, I'm still looking at doing this soon. I just been a bit busy. Sorry about that. But yeah, still going to do this one soon. Alright, next up, I'll talk about treasure maps. So you just need one treasure map, and there's a couple of ways to get them if you don't have them already. Definitely the most convenient is just going to be having some gold and buying one. So guild stores. For example, this one here in Oridon, just go to the menu here, go down to miscellaneous at the bottom, trophy, select treasure map, and look through here. Now, this is perfect. Stroke Mackay, for example, this is one of the really easy ones to do. So my advice, look for all of the trainee zones if you don't have many wayshrines unlocked like in the world. So Kanathi's Roost, Stroke Mackay, Betnik, Bleakrock Isle, and Balfoyan. These are the ones I suggest if you don't know, like if you're not too familiar with zones to look at, because these zones are very small. You can cover the entire area with like a single wayshrine, and that means all the maps are like in a very small area that you can easily travel to, as opposed to say Stonefalls. If I've got a treasure map for like this side of Stonefalls, like I've got nothing nearby, and it's just, you know, I've got this house, but it's still a bit of a run around trying to get something. Whereas if I get one in Bleakrock, the wayshine's right in the middle, so I've got access to the whole thing. Now, the other two ways, one is to loot chests. Dolmens, for example, if you loot the chests from Dolmens for a while, you might get a treasure map from these. It's kind of unreliable, though. You could also loot containers. For example, if you've got Telmani Peninsula and access to the Necromunda ways, you can loot all the urns in there. Every now and then you'll get a treasure map. But it's kind of unreliable. Definitely the quickest way is to use the guild stores, from what I've seen. I think there's a few other ways to get them, but from what I've seen, those are like the most reliable ways. Thieves Troves. Actually, shit, I should have mentioned that. I don't have the guild on this. So with the ESO Plus free trial, I can confirm to you that Thieves' Troves do work. So if you've looted a Thieves' Trove with ESO Plus free trial, or if you've used ESO Plus at all, and you've got the Thieves Guild skill line, you can use Thieves' Troves as well. If you manage to find one of those, they usually have a treasure map in them, but sometimes the treasure map that you get can be kind of painful. So I'm going to use a treasure map that I have nothing in. Like, I have no Wayshines in Bankrai. It's over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I would suggest doing just to make it as easy for you as possible. So, home tours. This is going to be your best friend for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my browser. And we're going to look for player homes. So this one here, our player housing. So we go down here, then we go Control F, and we type in the zone. So Bankrai. And so what you can do is you can right click, open link. I mean, I think if you just click it, it does it anyway. I know. So what this will do is it will show you on the map where this house is, and you can use this to spot certain households that you want to look at that might be closest to your map. For some reason, it's failing to load here. But based on where the treasure map was, it's somewhere over here. You can see there's actually a house right here, Forsaken Stronghold. So what we do now is we put the browser away, and we look up in Browse Homes, Forsaken Stronghold. And we travel to whichever one is available. Again, it's free, so you don't have to worry about payments here. You can just get there, and yeah, it doesn't cost anything. You just have to make sure you leave the house. And if it's a DLC zone treasure map, you need to make sure that you own the DLC. In that case, maybe sell the map. You can make some gold for that, and buy another map in the meantime. And it is possible to get treasure maps of zones that you don't currently own. I've seen that happen with Thieves' Troves. Alright, so here we are, and that is like really convenient because it's right next to the treasure map over here. That was really good. So if you're wondering what add-on I use to show the treasure map on my map in game, it's called Lost Treasure. So you can set this up to any treasure map in your inventory, in any survey in your inventory. It adds like an icon on the map, so it makes it easy to find this without having to look through the minigame. If you don't have this add-on, you can also just like... So ESO Hub is the link you want. You can also get YouTube videos which show you where exactly to find them, but it also shows on ESO Hub where to locate it, so you can use that too. All that stuff can be really handy. I'll link the player housing UASP page on in the description if you want that. Yeah, there's just a couple of skeevers here, just let me deal with them. Yeah, so here's the dirt mound. As soon as you dig it up, that's it. You don't actually have to loot the item, but I still would recommend it because you can get set items from the zone. Which, even if you're not going to use them, we'll collect the set. So it's just, yeah, good for the long run. Oh god, cat just kicked. Okay, last option, we've got dealing damage with siege weapons. So firstly, we need to get our hands on some siege weapons. The only one I suggest that you'll ever need for this endeavor is going to be Firebolt Ballistas. So you can buy these on guild stores. You can also buy them from vendors in Cyrodiil, but I suggest always looking through guild stores first, because you can get them for way cheaper than you can in the NPC vendors. They're 750 gold each in the like NPC ones, so it's just rough. Whereas some people sell these for very cheap. Again, websites are your best friend. Tamriel Trade Center, if you're looking for a certain ballista, you can use Tamriel Trade Center, and you can just get some much cheaper options here. The only issue you need to watch for is which alliance your character is. Just go to your character menu and just check the alliance here. And yeah, because you can't use, for example, if I got Dominion ballistas from a guild store, I wouldn't be able to use them on this character. So just have to make sure I check which ones I need. So yeah, you only need one, but just buy a couple if you need, because they are consumables. That's also why I suggest trying to buy them for cheaper, just for the long run. Okay, so you need to be level 10 to do this one, just first up, just make sure you're level 10. And then you go to a campaign. Now, use the campaign where your faction is doing okay. They don't need to be doing amazing, but they want to have just like a couple of keep. Alright, so when you get to Cyrodiil, every gate and every keep has a siege merchant in it. You just got to look around for them. So Ulg, for example, you open up the menu here, you'll see they sell 5-volt blisters. They sell them for gold, but they sell them for way more gold than you get via guild stores. So yeah, just use every guild store you can find that you have access to before you buy them here. Because yeah, you'll be usually spending a lot less gold through guild stores. Alright, so now you might read the tooltip and it says to players, guards, or keeps. Ignore this shit. It's fucking waste of time. The siege weapons can damage like anything basically that is an enemy. And I suggest using these. There's Volendrong spawn locations behind your keep gates. So the only issue here is if your faction doesn't own these 3 keeps here, these scroll gates here are open. And that means players can run around in these places. Even then, the odds of them doing anything to stop you from doing this strategy is like really, really low. But if you're worried about that, maybe you can just also look at other enemy resources, because the guards on the resource flags, you can shoot them indefinitely and they'll never die, as long as you do it from far enough away that they don't move. So yeah, but the Volendrong ones are the best because they're so convenient, because you're not running all the way to an enemy area to take one, and you might not get you might get killed on the way and stuff like that. It's much more simple using these Volendrong spawn locations. And there's also one for every faction. So this is the Daggerfall one, this is the Ebonheart Pact one over here, and this is the Dominion one over here. And there's also ones in the Overland too you can use as well if you want to try those. So say if your faction's like owning everything on the map, you can also just do it that way. But yeah, for simplicity's sake, I just use the ones behind the keep gates, because that means no enemy players can actually come over here and get in the way. So here's the Covenant Volendrong's shrine behind the scroll gate. So normally with I just want to point this out mostly with the other two. You want to get to a position where you can't be hit by the enemies or you can't be reached by the enemies, because what that does is they don't move and they'll reset much quicker. Now, it's not really a big deal for you, because by the time you kill all of them, you'll do more than enough damage to get the Endeavor done. But if you want like as a gesture of goodwill to make sure other people aren't inconvenienced by doing this too, if they want to do it as well, just allow them to live so that you don't have to wait for them to respawn. Because yeah, if someone else comes here and it's been cleared, they might have to wait. If you are struggling to find a place to put your siege weapon in like an elevated location, what you can do is go to gameplay and set quick cast to off or automatic. And what this will do is it allows you to manually place your siege weapon on the floor, or like more precisely, so you can find the sweet spot. So for example, right here is perfect. I can't really see too much what's going on, but if I just shoot this down here, I'll hit this one, and they can't actually reach me from up there, so they'll just kind of be confused, I think. Actually, I'm interested to see, can they actually reach me? No way, can they? Oh shit, they can. Okay, never mind. Alright, let me just pick that back up. But yeah, they de-aggro there anyway. So, in that case, let me just try here instead. Can they reach me over here? Yeah, wow, I'm shook. So if you shoot a couple of them in one hit, it will probably get this done in that time. But yeah, not much is required to actually do this. Not much at all. So that was 2 shots. Right, so that one reset, and there you go, that one reset. That's what you're looking for. As soon as that happens, yeah, other people can then shoot them. Because one shot from the ballista will not kill them. Alright, so from this point, if you want to get back quicker, you just go to Imperial City. Just queue for this, and what this will do is it'll pull you out of Cyrodiil and take you to a safe zone in Imperial City, and you're pretty much right next to the door that takes you back out to Overland. So you can just use that to get out quicker, instead of going all the way back to the gate. Just hit this, and we'll be back in Auradon. Perfect. Alright, that's Endeavors clear for today. If you have any insights you want to add, or just some questions you want to ask me, just put them in the comments as always. But yeah, so that's all for now. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. Take care for now. I'll see you next time.